So the layers you're seeing on me right now are layers that I would wear right down to minus 30. The biggest thing in cold weather, windy conditions is protection on your neck. You will lose lots of thermal heat through your neck and head area. So your neck is really important to protect. I mean, you have your large arteries and things right there in your neck, and if that cold air is going through, you're going to lose heat really, really quickly. So really important piece of kit is a Thinsulate or a fleece-lined thermal neck tube. This will protect your neck in the cold, and as it gets really cold, you know, then you can take your fleece layer, zip up your SMOCK layer, things like that, depending on what the conditions are like. Until the weather gets too severe that, you know, I have to cover up my ears. So generally, like right now, it's hovering around 0. We'll say go to -5. Now, some places they always talk about, oh, you know, you got to have a SMOCK or whatever. Well, one of the reasons I don't like generally to use SMOCKs in the wintertime is this is made of cotton, and cotton has basically 0 insulation value. It will keep you, you know, warm a little bit, but if this gets damp or anything, it's not going to function the way that it should. So I generally like to wear a thin wool scarf. That is the best thing, you know, that you can wear on a regular basis. You can just tuck that around your neck like this, just kind of crisscross it, and now you've protected your neck. And with something like this, you can be working and doing things around in just below 0 temperatures all day long. You know, maybe you're going to need a toque, obviously, to protect your ears, but nothing like a very thin wool scarf. And the reason why wool is really effective is it's a natural fiber that repels water and moisture. So if you're sweating, the sweat will get on there. It will kind of move to the surface, and your heat from your body will help that to dissipate, and it actually causes a self-drying effect. So this is the Gen 3 part of the extended cold weather system. This is a mid-weight undershirt, long undershirt, and long johns, long underwear. This has what's called like a waffle type pattern. This is what I use as my main base layer. What makes the Rothco Gen 3 extended cold weather long underwears really functional in cold weather is it works on the same principle like wool. The synthetic fibers repel moisture, water, so that stuff moves to the outside of the garment and gets it off your skin, so it can evaporate, things like that. Also, the waffle type pattern is great because it traps air. Most people don't know, but the greatest insulator is it's not wool or acrylic or anything like that. It's actually air. Air is your #1 best insulator, and that's what you want with all garments and clothing, is you want to be able to trap air. That trapped air is actually what keeps you warm. If the temperatures are like about 5 degrees Celsius, things like that, you know, you're moving down towards the 32 degrees Fahrenheit, like the freezing temperature, I will wear a polyester type acrylic undershirt, wicking undershirt with a thinner wool type or even a little bit heavier wool sweater. These are all military surplus. Now this sweater is actually 50% acrylic, 50% wool. I've got these overseas. Some of these are British military surplus, some are Austrian. I believe this one is Austrian. Once you start moving below 0 and getting into, you know, the -5, 10 range, that's when I transition out of this to wearing the long undershirt with wool. I like the acrylic wool combination. I kind of like the thermal value that I get from that, and it seems to work really great for, I guess, my body type. I have a fairly high metabolism, so if I find myself getting cool or cold in the wintertime, you know, I'll just have a bite to eat or whatever, boom, metabolism gets going. I've got that acrylic layer next to my skin that heats up real quick, and then with the insulating value of the wool sweater, then I warm up and I stay warm. So I'll just kind of show you that's what I'm wearing here right now. So this is the Gen 3 waffle long undershirt, and then I'm wearing a wool, heavier wool sweater over top of that. So my next layer is a fleece layer. So I've done a review of this fleece on my channel. This is a Helicon Tex fleece. It's not a heavy fleece. I would basically call this kind of a mid-weight fleece. So this is my next thermal layer. So I have my waffle Gen 3 long undershirt, and then I have my wool sweater, and then I have a fleece over top of that. So that is my next insulating layer. And then my final wind protection and cold, repelling cold layer, things like that, is the SMOCK. Now the SMOCK is made from a ripstop nylon, so that these fibers are extremely tightly woven together, so you don't have wind penetration, and you're able to keep your thermal energy trapped inside your garment and keep your core body temperature warm, because that's your ultimate goal. You want to prevent hypothermia, you want to prevent wind chill on your body, so you want to, you know, that's the best way to keep your heat inside. Part of my philosophy with cold weather gear is just practice out in daily life. I work at an open pit mine, and so the weather gets harsh, it gets cold. So for my feet wise, for the last 10 years, I've been wearing nothing but wool socks. I used to have problems with foot odor, things like that. Well, it was because I was wearing cotton, and cotton traps moisture and does not breathe. So these are a heavier smart wool. These are more of a lighter weight smart wool sock. And these ones are a heavier acrylic sock. So I've got man-made fibers and natural fibers here, and all three of these styles. I have some other types of smart wool socks, some thinner as well. They all work really well. So depending on how extremely cold the temperature is getting and how long I'm going to be outside. So once, you know, if it's 20 below and I'm going to be outside all day long, I'm going to be putting on my pretty thick smart wool socks, or my thicker acrylic socks. I'll be wearing those inside my winter boots, which I did a review on the channel. One of the biggest things with living in the colder climates is you need to be flexible. You just can't say, oh, I'm putting this on and that's just going to work all winter long. It doesn't work that way. The temperatures are constantly fluctuating, constantly changing. You can have minus 30 one day, and then 2 days later you're only at like minus 2 degrees. So that's one of the reasons why you go with a layering system, because especially if you're outdoors, maybe you're bushcrafting, doing an overnight or things like that, and those temperature fluctuates and changes, you can take layers off, put layers on. I do like to wear leather gloves, so I looked around and I found a pair of nylon gloves that, you know, react with the heat of your body, and then I was able to wear, you know, leather gloves and still work in cold temperatures, you know, carrying my rifle, things like that. So that's another option, rather than just say wearing a bulky a bulky glove is you can get a leather glove, like a size larger, and then wear a thermal insert inside of it. The fleece I'm wearing is vented in the armpits, so it is going to lose some thermal energy that way. The next type of garment I would move into is one with a reflective coating. So I would wear this underneath my smocks, and then that will actually give me even much better thermal protection. Traditionally, when it got really cold, I wore a type of ski pants. Now these are made by Columbia. So these will protect me in adverse weather conditions right down to minus 40 Celsius or Fahrenheit. A more modern garment is these waterproof combat pants that Arctis puts out. These are great. So I've basically tested these out to about, I would say minus 10 to minus 15 Celsius. So I wore these as an outer shell, and then underneath I wore my Rothco Gen 3, part of the extended cold weather system, the mid-weight base layer for long underwear protection against my skin underneath these waterproof combat pants, which have there is a layer inside of these. So there is a layer, so that gives you another aspect of protection. So you have the outer shell and then the inner layer, which helps to keep, when this is cold, to to keep that off your long underwear to prevent cold from penetrating into your skin. Alright everyone, that kind of about covers it for thermal layers and gear that I kind of wear in cold temperatures. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, just pound them down there in the comments. Alright everybody, take care, and we'll catch you all again. Bye now.